So, the New England Patriots have finally lost. And you know what that means. The San Francisco 49ers, who everybody said would be a failure, who everybody said would miss the playoffs, are the only undefeated team left in the NFL. Now, let me explain to you what that means. It means the 49ers have not lost a game through 8 attempts. They have beaten great teams like the LA Rams on the road. They have whooped the Carolina Panthers at home. They have taken care of business against every other team they've played, including division rivals like the Arizona Cardinals. They've taken apart other teams on the road big time. They destroyed the Cleveland Browns. So now what? If you're a 49er fan, like I am, you have to calm yourself down a little bit because remember, it's just an 8-0 start. Doesn't mean anything. What means everything is if you go to the Super Bowl and you win it. And 49er fans know all too well what it's like to lose in the Super Bowl, as we had that happen in 2012. So the goal of this season shouldn't be to be undefeated. The goal of this season is to win the Super Bowl. So with that having been said, let's look at the final 8 games of the season and see exactly how the 49ers may finish. You have the 49ers taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Now, a lot of smart Alex will probably pick the Seahawks to win next week. And let's be honest, that's not a bad pick. I would pick the Seahawks too if I didn't know that the Niners could handle them. But as we saw last year, Nick Mullins led a ragtag 49ers team to a victory over the Seahawks at home. And this year's 49er team is much better. They lost Quan Alexander for the season. That's a big loss, and that's something that might hurt the Niners in that game against the Seahawks, but they have someone that's going to be able to cover for them, and I think it will help them. So with that having been said, let's take a look at the final 6 games and see how I believe the Niners will do. I think the Niners are going to beat the Seahawks. It's going to be a close game, but I think the Niners will go to 9-0, beating the Seahawks. I think they're going to take down the Arizona Cardinals. And I think their first loss is going to happen against the Green Bay Packers in Week 12. And this is why this is significant. I think the Packers are going to execute a scheme that will finally work when they go into Santa Clara, and they will beat the 49ers. They will run the ball, keep the 49ers offense off the field, and just take it right to the Niners defense. I think the Niners will then go into Baltimore and lose to the Ravens on the East Coast time. Then I think the Niners will lose to the Saints, so that will be 3 losses in a row, and that will leave many people questioning whether the Niners are actually in it, like if they have anything going for them. They'll be 10-3 by this point. And then I think the Niners will end their season with wins over the Falcons, over the Rams, and then they will lose to the Seahawks to finish the year 12-4. Now, whether this means that the Niners win a division is another thing. The Seahawks can still come out of nowhere and sneak out the division. Now, let's see the Seahawks schedule the rest of the way and see whether, by my logic, it can happen. The Seahawks end the year in Santa Clara against the Niners, so I have them losing that game. So that would put them at 7-3. I have them losing in Philadelphia, which would put them at 7-4. I have them beating the Vikings, which would put them at 8-4. A loss to the Rams, and that would ultimately clinch the division for the 49ers. And then the Seahawks would go into Charlotte, beat the Carolina Panthers, beat the Arizona Cardinals, and then end the year with a win over the 49ers, finishing 11-5 and finishing as the top wild card. So I do have the Seahawks making the playoffs, of course, but I do have the 49ers winning the division at 12-4. What do you think about the San Francisco 49ers? Do you think that they can make it all the way? Do you think they'll go undefeated? Do you think that they'll make it to the Super Bowl? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.